Welcome back to CSM TV. We're back in the shop today because we got the Pony Express back from our chassis guy and we got some work to do. If you haven't been following along or new to the channel, this is my 92 Dodge Colt. It is all-wheel drive and 4G63 swapped. And on the last video, we ended up cutting the old 6-point cage out of the car and sent it off to the chassis guy to put a new 10-point cage and a bunch of other stuff to go along with that. So we sent it off to Storm & Norman roll cages up in, or actually I guess from me it's down in Avon, and I can't say enough good things about Norm. He's done a ton of my friends' cars and always like the work he's done. It's totally different when it's your own car. Like, you kind of notice a little more things with how he goes about it, and it's awesome. I can't have zero complaints. So I always hear about chassis guys having cars for months on end, and he only had the car for about a week and a half. So I've actually had the car for about a month in here. I've been fixing some dailies and hiding from the extremely cold weather we had, and you know, I got all the excuses in the world. A little bit of lack of motivation, but anyways, we're ready to get back at it. I got a bunch of things I got to do. We got to get the interior back in. We got to get the cage painted, all that stuff. But first, let's go check out the cage and see what all he did to it. Went ahead and pulled the passenger seat out so we can get a better look at the rest of the cage. So, going from a 10-point, or sorry, from a 6-point to a 10-point, which this is all new chromoly, and you can add on to those, but it doesn't turn out as good. And my cage was mild steel. If you've been following along, probably said this a million times. Everything's chromoly. Going to a 10-point, the points you add are actually these two bars here, these upper bars on the roof here. They go all the way down and go to the floor. So that's your extra 4 points that you get with the cage. And then you also get this bar that goes right in front of you, and you don't necessarily need a dash bar, but in my case, to get this bar stuck in as far as we could, we had to cut it out, in which I want everything as light as possible. I wanted to cut out anyways, so definitely didn't care about that. And he cut it, I mean, flush, if you can see. So happy about that. And then of course, new mount for the steering rack. He has mounts for the harnesses back here, and harness mounts back here for the shoulder straps. And then we did removable door bars, which I haven't had, which are awful. It's actually not bad to climb over, but the worst part is if you have to work on anything inside the car. It's a nightmare. So went ahead and had these removable bars in, so you just pull a pin, swing out, swing back in, or you can pull the bolt down there and totally just remove it from the car. So that's going to be nice, and I won't hate myself if I have to work on the inside of the car, which, you know, obviously we'll be doing to get the cage painted. I think, oh, got a window net, I'll show you that. So we also got the window net mounted here. That's those guys. And then this, let's see if this works. I'm probably totally missing. So yeah, little window mount guy. Just a tab. Oh, this is hard to do one-handed. He also gives you this nice sheet with all the dimensions. So you can get online and order a nice custom window net that actually fits your car and not trying to work with some other junk that doesn't fit. And real quick, before we move on to some of the other things, I just want to show how tucked this cage is in the car. It's ridiculous. Let's just get a few shots here. You can see up the pillar. There you go. Nice shot. And then even this bar, you can't even see that it's there. Like, door shut. Still can't. There it is. So I mean, it's tucked. It's tucked real nice. The front shot, we'll see with my dirty windshield. Can see the bar, but I mean, you can't see this top bar at all. It's nice, tucked up to the headliner, pretty nice. I'm hoping I can actually get my review mirror back in there, which I might check that in a sec just to see. But the last thing he did, well, I wouldn't say the last thing. Last thing we're showing that he did is the parachute mount, which actually ended up, I know normally what I've seen, he ties it into the cage, but the way my fuel cell is, and I have that big tank that takes up like half of this back area, getting the bars around and getting around the fuel cell, it wasn't really a great idea, so he went off some of the all-wheel drive stuff that is under the car. Let me show you what he did. Okay, so queso. I love some queso right now. Okay, so this bar right here, that's been welded in for a few years. That holds the whole subframe of the all-wheel drive system in this car. Welded to that, and then come up a little bit. These bars are all like some extra stuff we put in for the fuel cell, and he welded a little guy right there. And then right here, we have the bolt so we can remove the parachute if we want. Apparently, he decided the structure under the car is good enough to weld a parachute to. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident in it if he is. And we'll need to, do some things, get the rest of the parachute stuff on there. But that'll be probably another time. We're going to focus on the cage stuff. We need to get the dash in, get it cut up, and mount a few things before we go about painting the cage. So yeah, we got started on the dash, which I'm not looking forward to, but we need to get to work. Okay, to cut this dash out, luckily Norm did make some marks on the dash. Unfortunately, I took him this dash out of Magnum for some reason, so mine didn't get beat up, even though it would have been fine. But so he marked this dash, put a little mark here. And you probably can't see, but there's a little mark here on the pillar he made. So you can line that up with the dash. So I kind of transferred that over to my dash and made a little template. So we can cut that out, which... So we're going to make this little cardboard guy, which I have our mark here. It lines up with the dash. Then we'll be able to cut this out and get it to go around our bar and start with that and then cut the dash, and hopefully we don't make any mistakes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hopefully I don't mess it up. Okay, so we got our pattern cut out here. I haven't touched the dash. I'm nervous. And putting it in, so it's going to be something kind of like that. Hopefully I did it right. I just took my time, cut it out, used a bunch of different pieces. Well, cut out a bunch of different little pieces. So hopefully we can take this to the dash, and then we can cut out our notch, and hopefully we can get the dash in with just a notch. I feel like it's going to be a real big pain in the ass. So we'll see if we need to cut any more, but we'll get these two notches. We'll have to do the driver's side, which is the same side, or same process we're doing. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Driver's side is done, pattern's done, everything's marked. It doesn't look like it's gonna be fun. We got the passenger side here too. Gonna be maybe a little better, I hope. Looks like it's gonna be kind of a pain, but we'll see. I was gonna use a Sawzall to do that. A small Milwaukee handheld Sawzall, not like a big, stupid two-handed one. But I think it's probably not the greatest thing to use, and it might tear up the dash. So I think I'm gonna go get an air saw. In the meantime, we'll go on a little side mission and get the base plates all painted up and get that out of the way. So, because they're going a different color than the cage, on to match the floor with just some black or something. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. With our base plates painted and air saw purchased, we can finally cut into the dash. Trying to take it slow. It is a little tough with right where the bars are at. It's right where the dash kind of dips in and has a couple different angles you have to go at. So it was a little tricky trying to get it on the original pattern and still fit into the car. I will say the air saw was a good move on this one. I did buy just a cheap Harbor Freight one, and I bought the blades from Harbor Freight as well, so I would not recommend those. I did hit a little bit of metal in the dash, and it kind of struggled to get through. So with some nice blades, they could go a little bit easier than what I actually went through to cut those out. Dash is in and fitted. Fits pretty good. Only I got a little excited here and made a little bigger hole than what I would have liked. Wish it was on the passenger side so I don't have to look at it every time I get in the car, but is what it is. Can't do anything about it now. And we did end up having to slot this guy, unfortunately, to get the dash to fit. I do have the pieces. They're not too terrible, but there's really maybe try to get something mounted up here. I don't really know, but it would look nice if it would stay. Unfortunately, it won't. So we'll see if it can come up with something else. But let's go look at the passenger side. It's much better. The passenger side has a really good fit. Once again, it's slotted to get the dash in. There was no way to really avoid doing that. I tried to fit it without it, struggled with it, but it happens. We'll cover it with a stick or something, or I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. But I would like to move on to start scuffing the cage. Unfortunately, the base plates are still, if you can see, maybe back here a little better. That's picking it up, but they're still actually wet from painting them yesterday when I did that. And I don't want to, I already kind of messed up these front ones, which are going to be covered in carpet, so it's not a big deal. But I don't want to get a bunch of crap in the other ones. I can't really scuff the cage. I will fit up a couple more things just to test fit, and then we'll just have to wait for this paint to dry, and then we can move on to painting the cage. This one might be the problem because the stud. I don't know if this will make it cool. That's fucking sick. Oof. That sucks. Okay, quick update. Got the relay mounted. Got a brace for the ECU PDM mount, so that thing, it's not going anywhere. Probably once it's tightened up, everything still looks. We were going to do the nitrous solenoids, but obviously the dash is kind of in the way to do that stuff. So we'll have to pull the dash out and do it then before we get into everything else. So one last thing, this dash piece. So this thing goes right in here. It's big, it's heavy. I usually don't have it on the car because it's heavy and it's kind of in the way. Sort of in the way, not really. But I don't know if I even want to mess with making brackets for it. I may just do it later. Right now might be the good time to do it, but I don't even know if it'll be in the car. So probably just cross that bridge when someone yells at me for not having that. That sounds like a good plan. I think we'll do that. And with that stuff all, once we get the nitrous solenoids mounted, we can actually get to scuffing the cage. And it has been several days since we painted the base plates, and they took forever to dry. I'm saying like it took a few days to dry. I don't know. It's probably too cold in here. Usually about 50. I cranked it up to 60, and it still took, I don't know, 5 days for it to fully cure. I probably was a little heavy on the paint, but whatever. So it's ready to go. Need to pull everything back out, and we can start scuffing and finally get the cage painted. So I'm gonna go do that. Oh, it's happening finally. We are ready for paint, and it's been way too long. I don't want to talk about how long it's taken to get to this point because it seems like it's taken forever. It's been like probably 2 minutes on this video, but it's hard to show everything that kind of goes into it. I really underestimated it just a little bit. Everything is taped off and ready for paint. Everything's been scuffed, cleaned. Yeah, we are ready to go, and the color we are doing is this hammered gray color. It's the same color that is actually on my valve cover and my intake manifold, so hopefully it'll match pretty good. We'll see how it turns out. And actually, we're going to be using these foam rollers to paint it with, and that's what I actually did on my 6-point cage that I hit in there. It worked really good. Probably didn't do the best job prepping it, so it did chip up quick, but we'll see how it goes with this one. We'll get a couple coats on, and hopefully it will be good. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, the cage is painted, dried, ready to pull all this stuff out of here so we can get a really good look at it. I haven't done that yet. I did have to go back and actually touch up these A-pillar bars after I got the 2 coats on, because I did miss like a whole strip, which is really, really a pain in the ass to get to. I don't know the best way to do it, but man, with a windshield in, it was rough. I got a couple spots on the pillar trim, but I already cleaned off some of them, so it should clean up more. I just got to put some more elbow grease into it, and they turned out okay. It kind of sucks. Some of the other bars you're not gonna see turned out better, but they're a lot easier to get to. So yeah, we'll see. I'm always pretty critical about my stuff on my car. I'm sure it looks probably really good on video that you won't see the flaws, or even in person, but yeah, it's usually how it goes. Yeah, this side really kind of got slopped on trying to get it all covered. It was not fun with a brush. With a spray can, I don't even know how you get in there. I don't even know if you could, but yeah, for the most part, pretty happy with it. There's one spot right here you probably can't see because of the light. It's like directly on it. Now you really can't see it. It's a big old run. I don't like it, but I think I tried to go back and touch it up. Once this is on, I would not recommend, once it starts to dry, going back with a brush. It's just going to make it worse to try to help it. Let it fully dry, and then I'm not sure. Go back, try paint over it. Door bars are okay. The top sides are good. Bottom sides, could be better, but they're covered. Actually, this one's the one that kind of sucks. If you can see it, probably can't. Anyway, it's enough talking. Let's pull all this stuff out. I'm ready to see the cage without all the covering in there, and see how it looks. Ooh boy, looking much better without all the plastic and paper and tape and all that stuff in there. Yeah, I think I dig it. I think I like the silver. Wish a couple spots were a little better, but I doubt I'll see them. Hopefully no one else really sees them, but it's whatever. I'm my own worst critic anyways. I think gray was a good choice, and I've probably said this a couple times. I did it to match the valve cover and intake manifold, so if you haven't seen it, there she is. Yeah, so the same gray. Yeah, not looking too shabby. I probably should have cleaned the windshield. Maybe you could actually like see it in there. I will say, it's a double-edged sword having a cage that's pretty tucked in there, especially if you're not going to pay for the paint like me and try to save some dollars doing it yourself. It's a pain. There's a couple spots I actually couldn't fit paper in between, and I had to use the plastic. And even as thin as it was hard to get kind of between a couple spots. So it was a little challenging, but I dig it. I dig it. And also, Norm only offers black. Real big Henry Ford guy, apparently. So I didn't want black, had to do gray, so I had to pretty much just do it myself anyways, which I'm okay with. Can't wait to see it with interior in it, but we're not going to do that in this video. We're going to call it good on this one. You stuck around. I really appreciate you watching, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.